Welcome. Today, we're going to explore a really fascinating remix. We're taking two philosophies on success that, on the surface, should not work together. We've got a famously ruthless guide to power, and we're blending it with a super optimistic manifesto on wealth. Sounds crazy, right? Well, let's see. Okay, so to really get this, let's introduce our two main players. And trust me, at first glance, these two couldn't be more different. It's like they come from completely different universes. So, in one corner, you've got Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Now, this book is a legit cult classic. I mean, it's read by everybody, from Hollywood execs and huge names in hip-hop like Jay-Z and 50 Cent, all the way to inmates in prison. The whole idea behind it is scarcity. It's this super pragmatic, kind of cynical view that life is a zero-sum game. For you to win, someone else has to lose. And then in the other corner, you have Wallace D. Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich. This thing was written way back in 1910, and it's actually the book that heavily inspired The Secret. It's a cornerstone of the New Thought movement, and its whole philosophy is the exact opposite. It says your mind is a creative powerhouse, that wealth and opportunity aren't limited things you have to fight over. Nope, they're things you can literally create with your thoughts and actions. So here's the big question, right? How could you possibly merge these two completely opposite worldviews? One is all about strategic domination. The other is about collaborative creation. It seems impossible. Well, that's the puzzle we're going to try to solve in this explainer. The key to making this work isn't about watering down either philosophy. Not at all. It's about finding a bridge, a single powerful idea that completely reframes everything. And that bridge is what we're calling the master principle of abundance. Think of it as the new operating system. It's a core belief that just changes the whole game. Instead of seeing the world as this one small pie that everyone's fighting over a slice of, it says, hey, the pie is infinite. And once you believe that, your focus naturally shifts away from cutthroat competition and towards more ethical, more empowering ways of doing things. You know what's really crucial to get here is the idea that your mindset, what's going on in your head, directly creates your reality. And when you adopt this principle, power itself gets a total makeover. It stops being a weapon you use to dominate and take from other people, and it becomes a tool you can use for mutual growth, for creating value that benefits everybody. Okay, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. Let's take this master principle and see how it completely recodes or remasters some of Greene's most famously ruthless laws. Let's take a look at Law 9, win through your actions, never through argument. Okay, so the original scarcity-driven take on this is pretty straightforward. You argue to dominate, to prove you're right and they're wrong. But when you apply the abundance filter, arguing is just a massive waste of creative energy. The new strategy? Just stop talking. Focus all that energy on creating real, tangible results. Let your success, that undeniable value you're creating, do all the talking for you. All right, now check this one out. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Oof, that sounds pretty manipulative, doesn't it? And yeah, in the scarcity model, it totally is. But watch what happens when we flip the script. With an abundance mindset, it's not about control. It's about what we could call value-based interdependence. You're not trying to manipulate anyone. You're just focused on becoming so genuinely valuable, on creating such amazing results that people naturally and willingly come to depend on the good things you provide. And this next one really shows the huge philosophical shift we're talking about. Law 15, crush your enemy totally. I mean, wow, that sounds brutal. But in the abundance framework, your enemy isn't a person. It's not a rival. No. The enemy is anything that's a threat to your most important resources, your time, your money, your energy. So crushing the enemy becomes about strategically and decisively removing anything that drains you so that your own vision has the clear space it needs to grow and flourish. So what does all this actually look like when you put it into practice? What kind of framework for influence does this create? Let's break down the big takeaway here. When you boil it all down, this new abundance power is really about a few core things. First, you're always focused on creating win-win outcomes, not zero-sum games. Second, your influence comes from the real value you provide, not from control or manipulation. And third, and this is a big one, it says that acting with integrity and building genuine, authentic connections isn't just the nice thing to do. It's actually the smartest and most strategic path to long-term success because it builds trust and opens doors you never even knew were there. And that leaves us with a final, kind of provocative question to chew on. Is this whole remix a genuine evolution of strategy, a more ethical, maybe even more effective path to influence in our modern world? Or is it just a clever rebranding of good old-fashioned ambition? Just a way to make the timeless quest for power a little more palatable? That's definitely something to think about.